I'm very excited to be able to show you on board the Princess X80 here in Plymouth at the open event, which is being held in lieu of Dusseldorf Boat Show, which of course was unfortunately cancelled. So please come aboard and we'll have a look around. So the Princess X80 is a brand new model from the hull up. It comes swiftly following the Princess X95 and of course has all of the same design hues. It's all about volume, it's about flexibility and comfort on board. And it really is quite extraordinary the amount of flexibility that you get in this model. So we'll have a quick look through and you'll see all of the design hues coming from Pininfarina and from Olesinski, who've of course been involved in the hull design and hull form. So let's have a look inside. I'm just going to kick off my shoes. As you move through this area, you get a feeling that it's designed to be able to run with crew very, very well, or indeed to have a more open feeling and perhaps be an owner-operated boat. We're familiar with the seating area that's really brought into most of the Princess models of this sort of size. You've got a lovely social space here with seating adjacent so that everybody can be in the one area, and communication and having a chat is really, really comfortable. This table here is really rather clever. It'll go high and low and it will extend out so that you can have a full dining table here for up to 10 people. It'll drop down a little bit further than it is now and it'll also move in and out at the touch of a button. So lending itself to a really supple social space or indeed an interior dining area. The galley, located on the starboard side, concept comes from the Princess Y85, which of course is a few years old now. But the idea here is that this section will come up and completely enclose the galley. So if you're running the boat with a chef, everything can be closed off and they're not interfering with the social space or with the guests. You've got a sliding door here. And you've also got access out onto the side walkways, again, so that the crew don't need to come in through the social spaces. It's a fully functioning galley. It's got everything that you need. And in fact, on this particular boat, they've got just one big fridge, a Sub-Zero, and freezer drawers, but you can complement that with another big fridge here. So the level of autonomy that the boat offers for prolonged periods of time at sea or on anchor is really quite fantastic. And all of the usual amenities that you would expect to see in a fully functioning galley. Dishwashers, lots of refrigeration space, and likewise throughout the boat you've got all of those additional resources just for keeping your drinks topped up. Ice makers and wine coolers. Let's move up to the forward section of the boat where it becomes a little bit more flexible again. So this X80 has been built with the 5-cabin configuration. This is a VIP cabin, and if you chose to have a 4-cabin configuration, this whole area becomes a dining area. So you have a dining table. This bulkhead section here is taken away. You've got windows going the whole way around, and the table is tucked very nicely in here into integrated seating. But actually, as a 5th cabin, this space is really quite impressive. There's loads of light coming in, a very generous ensuite, loads of space, and the joyous feature here is that you've got your own independent access to the side deck. And that leads very nicely up to the small jacuzzi that's located on the front, which will take 3 to 4 people. So it really moves the emphasis of flow to the front end of the boat. It's really, really exciting. Of course, also on this level, just to move a little bit aft again, you've got the day heads. So this is the all-important feature, making sure that people don't need to use any of those ensuite facilities or go downstairs with wet feet, having been in the balmy waters of the Mediterranean. Should we have a peek downstairs? So this really is quite extraordinary. In an 82-foot hull, to achieve what has been achieved in all of the accommodation areas is really quite extraordinary. You know, this hull on this boat is a standard Olesinski planing hull. It's a standard Princess hull form. It's not a displacement boat. And we need to remember that when we're moving through these spaces, because of course a displacement hull will open up a little bit more volume. So what has been achieved here is really, really quite incredible. So this would be the master cabin. It's everything that you expect to see in a master cabin on a boat of this size. It's a really generous full beam, loads of light. The windows are brought right down almost to the water level, so you're never forgetting what your surroundings are. You've got a dressing room here on the port side, and over to the starboard side you've got a really generous ensuite. And actually it's worth having a look inside that ensuite, because this boat is moving in with a new design team, and some of the use of finishing, such as this detail here, is new to the Princess line. And then as you move into the shower cubicles, you've got the use of teak, or flexi teak actually. So it's just bringing a lovely warmth to these living areas that is new. All of the lighting that's on the boat is smart lighting, so you've got various moods that you can preset. The specification actually for the X80 and indeed the Y72 and above, the standard specifications are elevated. So, you know, they're all coming now with air conditioning as standard, with all of the smart lighting fit out, with audiophile level music equipment from Name Audio. So really it's quite a high spec as standard. Let's have a quick look up here. So moving to the forward double cabin, again, just lovely volume. You know, it's really uncompromising. Storage space is abundant, whether it be in the lockers to starboard and port, underneath the beds. Nice big hanging lockers here, and you've got a little dresser here so that you can be made ready for your dinner. And of course, again, you've got a really generous ensuite. Lovely, lovely rounded design coming in here. You know, all of this styling is new to Princess, and I think we're going to be seeing a little bit more of that through the models to come. And of course, moving into the midships, on this particular boat, this is a converting twin cabin, so these beds will pull together. On this particular boat, they've actually put in a Pullman bunk. So you can sleep up to 3 in here. It's perfect for the kids. They'd have a lot of fun sleeping in the bunks here. Got their little television there so that they can come in and watch some movies and get some space. Really lovely. Full head height the whole way through. Not too many steps. Lots of light. Really, really beautiful spaces. So well conceived. So we're now in the starboard cabin. It's a double as standard. It works really, really nicely. There's no compromise with the amount of space moving around the cabin. You know, there's lovely access into the bed. Again, tucked in behind the door, you probably can't see it right now, but you've got a little dresser there. You've got loads and loads of storage, hanging lockers here, and again, a really, really generous ensuite. So it's a lovely, lovely space, you know, for really what is a fourth cabin on the boat, the fifth being the bunk cabin that we have just been into. There's just no compromise. So why don't we move up to the flybridge area and have a look at the Sky Lounge. This really is quite amazing. Again, an 82-foot length overall. This space is extraordinary. You know, it's so expansive. Everything, the superstructure is pulled forward to make sure that the full length of the boat is used at this level. So in here, of course, you've got these sliding doors here. Again, if you're operating with crew, this is a fantastic location for the crew to be able to get away. Aside from the small crew mess that they have in their crew quarters area, this will be quite important. And of course, the captain can be getting on with everything that he needs to up here while the guests have privacy and comfort behind closed doors. As standard, the boat is supplied with a Bonning control system. So all of your ship systems are controlled through this touchscreen here. And then, of course, you've got a number of MFDs, repeaters up here for bringing up all of your navigation equipment. A lovely, lovely space. Really clear visibility just down to the bow rails, so you can get perspective on your bow down there. You've got a side access door so that the crew or the guests can get out here onto the foredeck. So I'll just close over this door here just to demonstrate the privacy that you get from the wheelhouse. This area is really quite fantastic. You know, when you're spending prolonged periods of time on board a boat, and indeed you have 10 people or up to 10 people on the boat, it's lovely to have these separate spaces so that you can get away, sit down, read a book, you know, get a little bit of privacy. It does also, of course, have a pop-up television here. You've got, again, loads of light. It's difficult to demonstrate it on a rainy day in Plymouth, but the light that comes in through these two sunroofs is really brightens up the area and gives the impression of volume. And it leads so effortlessly out onto this aft flybridge deck. So it really is, it's vast, this flybridge area, and it's full of features. For instance, on this side, you've got an option here for a pop-up television, which of course will be all weather, and it's perfectly placed adjacent to the seating here. So if you wanted to watch the football whilst out in the sunshine, it's nice and comfortable for you to do so. The owner of this particular boat has elected to go with a solid table here, but there is a smaller one available that will fold in such a way and drop down to become a coffee table, so it opens it up as a social space. The seating modules back here are very, very cleverly designed so that this one can swivel around, and again, if you've got the small table here, it opens all of this space up, gives it a much more sociable aspect. And indeed in this module here, there's the option to put in an infill so that you've got a great big sun pad, although that will be secondary to the main sun pads, which are placed on the foredeck, and we'll see them in a minute. All of the usual bits and pieces that you expect to see in here for a little bit of al fresco dining and cooking, and refrigeration and ice makers. Nice little drop fridges over here, so the drinks are always within reach. This particular one's also fitted with the sunshade, and you've got a huge overhang here in the canopy, so it really is nicely protected. We'll move forward onto the foredeck, shall we? Yeah, so this really is an important space on this boat, and again it's just maximising this huge big deck area that you've got on this level. It's really quite extraordinary. This sun pad area is now designed to be a little bit more flexible. It's not actually incorporated on this particular boat, but there is now a push button system where these two seats will push back a little bit and a backrest will automatically come up, so that you can have 4 or 6 guests all sitting here very comfortably with their drinks and having a chat. Again, another social space which adds to the boat's flexibility. Oodles of storage. This is a lovely private area, particularly when you're stern to in a marina down in the Mediterranean. You've got fantastic privacy here, and of course then you've got the view out over the whole marina. So it's a really, really lovely place to sit and enjoy the views. We'll move on down below and have a look at the main deck. So there's a lovely feeling of substance as you walk around the boat. You know, the weight of the stainless steel and the elliptical shape. The T-cleats, you know, they're all just fantastically heavy. It really feels like a yacht. That, coupled with the width of this walk around and the high bulwarks, there's a lovely feeling of security and really like you're on a super yacht. This is the side door going into the galley, and as we press forward we're going to come to a really lovely open deck space. Again, more separate social seating so that everybody can find their own little bit of privacy. This particular boat, as I mentioned earlier, is fitted with a jacuzzi. So if you choose not to go with a jacuzzi, it opens up this area for an open seating area with a little table for your drink. It's really protected, nice and cool when you're out at anchor because you're getting the breeze on the bow of the boat. Really lovely area. The storage is absolutely monstrous. You've got storage running the whole way across here, accessible through 2 wing lockers, and of course down below here, adjacent to the chain lockers, you've got even more storage for your fenders and bits and pieces. We'll move aft and we'll have a look at the transom and the crew quarters. The crew area is quite flexible along with the rest of the boat. This particular owner has elected to make space for 2 crew members, but actually you can make space for up to 4 down here. So you can put bunks into this portside cabin where there's just one single bed at the moment. You can also remove this galley area and put another bunk in there. So you can have up to 4, but actually this configuration works really nicely because it gives the crew somewhere comfortable to hang out and be out of the way of the guests. And they've got all of the facilities here that they need to cater for themselves. So they can come down, have some lunch, get some privacy, have a seat, and be comfortable. There's a very, very generous shared heads for them with a shower, and of course then you've got access to all of the laundry facilities and access straight into the engineering space, which we'll go and have a quick look at now. The volume in here is what captures me. I mean, it's, you know, again, for an 82-foot boat, the space and the access to all of the machinery is really quite incredible. The engines that we're looking at here are MAN V12 1900 engines. And believe it or not, they'll power this boat up to somewhere in the region of 31 knots. So it really is quite extraordinary. She'll carry 7,000 litres of fuel, which can be upgraded by a further 1,800 litres. If you have the standard fuel tanks in, the extended fuel tanks in, you've got a range of up to 1,200 nautical miles on one fill, running in a displacement type speed at 10 knots. So she's only consuming about 65 litres per hour running at 10 knots. So a whole season really could be run with just one fill, if that's the way you're going to use the boat. This particular one again is fitted with fin stabilizers. She's very well spec'd. All of the air conditioning units, etc., are down here. She's twin generators, water maker, everything beautifully accessible. A lovely, lovely space. And just to conclude on the transom area, of course, here you've got the high-low platform that we're all used to seeing these days on boats of this size. In addition, you've got a little bit of storage in here for the all-important sea bobs. So you put racking in here for 2 sea bobs and you can fit the charger. There's never enough storage space on a boat. So again, every inch is being used to its best. So it's been great to show you around this beautiful X80. She really is an exciting new project, an exciting new boat from Princess, and the feedback so far has been very, very good. So thank you for watching. Please click the subscribe button and feel free to contact us for more information. Thank you.